Campaign Africa commemorates the 60th anniversary since the formation of the Organization of African Unity. Nigeria's Dozie Igweilo and his electronic waste-to-consumer product business is the focus in Campaign Africa's Innovate Africa themed content for today.
My name is Dozie Igweilo. I'm from Lagos, Nigeria. I have a background in economics education. I studied economics in the University of Ibadan. But before I went into college education, I've already have prior knowledge in electronics. But I've really loved electronics from a kid. I've been fixing mobile phones a year after I was introduced to Nigeria. Basic faults about mobile GSM phones like Samsung and Nokia. So this is something that I really love to do. So down the line after university, I got into the telecoms as a telecom trainee. So I was very fortunate to have a first-hand experience with solar panels. So at that time in 2015, we were installing the solar hybrid system on the telecom sites, which is more like a 3 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt, and 9 kilowatt system. So at that point, we were taking out the old generators, which is the diesel generator, and installing a new DC generator alongside a hybrid solar system. So that was what exposed me to understand how solar works. And at that point, because the telecom sector is very huge and you have to go to different remote areas, so we traveled a lot to several states and across the country. So that's where I discovered that most people are living without basic electricity, because growing up in the city, I never knew that there were people that are suffering from poor access to electricity. So at that point, I got to understand that this is a very huge problem. That was when I started thinking of ways to build products that could at least solve basic needs. That was where QuadLoop started out. For me, I was thinking of names to actually register the company. At first, I tried to use a name called Events Degree, but there's already a media company that has that name. So the regulatory bodies in Nigeria did not allow me to register that name. So over some weeks, I had to think through what names I should use. And I started thinking about the alphabet, from A, B, C, D. Then I was like, hey, Q is something that is really unique. It doesn't really, even most people don't have names that start with Q, So right. I was like, okay, let's see. And then I started thinking about back then in school, doing quadratic equation and mathematics. Right. Okay, quad sound good. Then the loop was more like on the recycling. So of course, recycling has an infinite loop. Right. So I just put quad and loop together and I was like, okay, quad loop. So what we do basically is we create energy products from e-waste. So these are basic products like basic energy products such as solar lantern, solar home systems. These are products that could give users basic lighting and mobile charging. So what we do is that we work closely with formal e-waste collectors. Who are formal e-waste collectors? Formal e-waste collectors are people that collect e-waste from big corporates. They are not scavengers, they are not roadside guys. They have paperwork, they have a routine, they have a line, they have procedures. So we chose to partner with them because we are sure of getting constant flow of raw materials. So we partner closely with formal e-waste collectors. These guys collect from big corporates such as British American Tobacco, Nestle, and these other big organizations, because these big organizations can't just throw their waste on the streets. Right. So they have to call on these guys that are regulated to collect them. So that's why we had to go partner with them, because that's the only way we can get these things measured, right, and we can get proper inflow. Yeah, so we actually, one of the things that we are very interested in is laptop batteries. That's one of our key resources. Yeah, because laptop batteries happens to be one of the most expensive and important components in building power systems, you know, because batteries are not cheap. So because we don't manufacture batteries here in Nigeria, we collect them from the guys, from the e-waste guys. So they collect laptop batteries that have been discarded. Take, for example, I'm sure you have a laptop at some point, you've used your laptop that it doesn't really back up anymore. And you'll be like, hey, we need to throw out this battery, I need to get another one, right? So the one you toss away is what we collect, break it down to build smaller systems. Because it's powering your laptop and it probably lasts maybe about 30 minutes from the usual 2 hours, 3 hours, there's some life in there. So the small life that's in there, that's what we use to create something of small appliances that could at least give people value. So that's one of the things, and other things such as screws, wires, cables, and other components as well. But batteries is one of the most important. Yeah, so typically, because we've not really done huge numbers, we've not produced up to 1,000, but we plan to do about 500 by the end of this year. So we are currently just done about 200, which is already sold. But yeah, economics of scale is not favoring us at this point, but each lantern is sold around $35 to $40. Right, so each lantern is comes with a 1-year warranty, and also we have embedded, designed the lantern to enable circularity. What do I mean? Because we are using Second Life batteries, we know that these batteries will get to end of life, let's say in 2 years. So we already designed the lantern to allow us to allow an easy battery swap. That way we can take out the battery cells and put another one just like a remote control. That way you can continue using it. So you don't have to have a dead lantern with dead batteries in there. So it's easily swappable. Well, so the vision is, of course, is mainly African-centric for now, because we understand that Africa has been, over the years, been a huge dump site for electronics that has been used in developed countries. And because we have abundance of this, and at the same time, in Africa, we don't manufacture anything like electronics per se. So down to batteries, down to television sets and the likes. So we found out that in as much as we have so much waste in Africa, we need to find a way to utilize them. So the future plan is to partner with formal e-waste collectors in different parts of Africa, and see how we could, utilize the waste. Let's say, for instance, in South Africa, we have a formal e-waste company. We work closely with them to leverage on the waste that they have and solve local problems. So that's the concept. And these problems are not, might not be solar lantern, might not be electricity problem. It might be in the area of e-mobility. It might be the area of clean cooking. So the goal for the company is very broad, in the sense that we could utilize waste to solve problems that is peculiar to different countries. Well, for me, number one, what it means to me to be African is, number one, is a blessing to be African, because in the world globally today, African is already being seen as the next big thing. So I'm very happy to be part of the next big thing. And also the fact that Africa over the years have been regarded as, not being productive, not being, but I can tell you that there's a new African rising, and this African rising is bent on the African youth. So I'm happy to be part of the African youth that's going to foster this change moving forward. My answer would be, for the fact that I was born in the African soil, I think it's just right for me to do my best to lift a lot of people out of poverty in terms of creating jobs and also making people live a better life. Well, so I don't really, in this part of Africa, in Nigeria, I don't know, we don't really celebrate that. Maybe I don't have an idea personally, but I've never heard of African Day per se. But I think over the few years, I've been hearing it one way or the other, but it's not really pronounced. That's it. In Nigeria, it's not really a pronounced thing, but I think this is something that, someone like us can, a company like us can put out there. But my own take, I'm just being liberal about that, because Africa has its own issues. Africa as a whole has issues with unity. Africa on its own has issues with leadership. So everyone is trying to be like, hey, you can't tell me what to do. So there's a lot of issues surrounding Africa. But we as individuals, we just try to do our best. So I can't really put so much around the global, because I'm not a politician. I'm just an entrepreneur trying to make things work.
Campaign Africa, channeling wealth to good use.